On the analytics page, we had added the connection times histogram in 2025. The way this is calculated is by taking the pump off to pump on times based off of the tubing pressure in our data set. Every time the pumps go off, a timer is started and it goes until pumps come back on, which is how we're logging the connection times. This histogram is showing the distribution of connection times in seconds based off of how many joints fall into each one of these buckets. So for example, on this job, there were a total of 248 joints where the connection time ranged between 60 and 65.5 seconds. On either end, you can see on the quicker end, there were 32 joints where the connection time was 47.1 seconds, and there were 24 joints where the average connection time was 83.9 seconds. So this is just showing the distribution of connection times as a histogram. In the very center here, you can see the average is showing 64.6 seconds, which is taking the average of all 978 joints. If you want a better look into this histogram, you can make it full screen and hover your mouse over each one of these bars to see how many joints fell into each one of these buckets. So here's an example of how the connection time histogram is pulling data from our tubing pressure. The guys were pumping right around 4,700 PSI. Whenever that tubing pressure drops down below a certain threshold, a timer starts, as you can see highlighted in yellow here. And that timer goes until the tubing pressure ramps up above a certain threshold until they get back up to rate. Our crews are pumping at 4,700 PSI, and you can see whenever they kick the pumps off, whenever the tubing pressure drops below a certain threshold, you can see a timer start where the connection time is being calculated. Whenever the tubing pressure gets up above a certain threshold, meaning the pumps were kicked back on and we're pumping down hole again, you can see that timer stops, and we have a summary of that 1 minute and 26 seconds where the pumps were turned off, and that's how we're calculating the connection times. Moving forward, we're looking to experiment with more event detection using similar methods in BoreSite. Another useful feature is at the top here, if you clicked by shift, you can see the average connection time per shift as opposed to overall in the histogram. In this case, we can see the average connection time by shift to see if there's any discrepancies between them. And if there are, it can be a useful tool so that our operations team can figure out where the discrepancies are and how to get them closer to each other. If you want to download this data, you can go on the top left and click Download CSV, which will export all of the connection times. Once the data set is exported to CSV, users can go in and see the joint count, the start time, end time, and average connection time per joint. On the analytics page, when you scroll down, you'll see this tensile strength diagram. In the top left, there's an option to select between 6 of our most common pipes that we're running in the field, where users can select whichever one they're running, and it'll upload the tensile strength envelope for that pipe. So for an end user, once you have this pipe selected, really what we want to look out for is to make sure that these blue data points aren't getting close to this pressure envelope in red. Once we start getting near that pressure envelope in red, that's a sign that maybe we should stop and evaluate what's going on to see if we can reduce that potential for collapsing or bursting tubing. If there ever is a case where these blue data points are getting close to the red line within that pressure envelope, please reach out to the superintendent on duty and evaluate from there.